Call the special called meeting of the Milton City Council for Wednesday, July 19th, 2023 to order. The city strongly recommends that you review tonight's agenda carefully, and if you wish to speak on any item on the agenda, then please bring your comment cards to the clerk as soon as possible. While the Milton rules allow a speaker to turn in their comment card up until the clerk calls the agenda item, once the agenda item is called, no more comment cards can be accepted. Will the city clerk please call the roll and make general announcements?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll be happy to call roll for the July 19th, 2023 special call City Council meeting. I would like to remind those in attendance to please silence all cell phones at this time. Those attending the meeting who would like to make a public comment, you are required to complete a public comment card prior to the agenda item being called. All speakers will identify themselves with name, address, and organization before beginning your comment. If you are representing an organization, an affidavit is required stating you have the authority to speak on behalf of that organization. Please review tonight's booing, outburst, or dialogue with any person speaking. Anyone in violation will be asked to leave. As I call roll this evening, please confirm your attendance. Mayor Peyton Jamison.
Here.
Councilmember Andrea Beerhoff. Here. Councilmember Paul Moore.
Here.
Councilmember Juliette Johnson. Here. Councilmember Carol Cookerly.
Here.
Councilmember Jan Jacobus.
Here.
And joining us via Zoom is Councilmember Rick Morick. Councilmember Rick Morick, can you hear us?
Here.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just for the record, Councilmember Morag, are you out of the jurisdiction just for purposes of compliance? I don't need to know where, I just need to know that you're out. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I am out of district.
Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And next is the approval of the meeting agenda. I would like to make one amendment, or two amendments tonight. I'd like to move the new business agenda item number 23-173 to immediately follow the consent agenda. And I would like to add an executive session to discuss land acquisition, personnel, and potential litigation. Do I have a motion on the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we accept the agenda with the requested changes that you have.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Cookerly to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That is unanimous. Okay, next is general public comment.
Aye.
Sorry. Next is general public comment. Do we have any general public comment?
We do, Mayor.
Okay, if you'll please call the first speaker.
Oh, do you want to read the?
Oh, sorry, here we go. I'm way ahead. The next item is general public comment. Public comment is a time for citizens to share information with the mayor and the city council and to provide input and opinions on any matter that is not scheduled for its own public hearing during today's meeting. Each citizen who chooses to participate in public comment must complete a comment card and submit it to the city clerk prior to the agenda item being called. Please remember that this is not a time to engage the mayor or members of the city council in conversation. When your name is called, please come forward and speak into the microphone, stating your name and address for the record. You will have 5 minutes for remarks. The city encourages you to review the agenda, and if you wish to speak, to bring your comment cards to the city clerk right now. And now I will ask you to please call the first speaker and not drink coffee right before the meeting.
Why, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to invite Ms. Francia Linden to the podium, please.
Hi, my name is Francia Linden. I live at 14810 East Bluff Road in Milton. And I'm here tonight to talk on the special municipal election. I think city staff has done a great job at trying to accommodate demands of their city council work and work this in and the requirements of learning how to run an election. This cost for staff time has not been included in any of the estimates of what this election is going to cost the city. The feasibility committee's report said that in 2021, Fulton County had charged Milton $84,671 to run the general municipal election. That's from the feasibility committee. From Stephen Krofkoff's budget for the first year, he's talking about $98,382. So already the city of Milton is paying more for less services because it's going from 8 poll places down to 2. So how this can be a win is beyond me. I don't understand it. In his presentation, Dr. Stephen Krofkoff made a reasonable solution about the location for the 2 polling places when he said they could either be located north, south, or south areas, or east and west areas. And that would have accommodated all of the districts in a fair manner. And I have never to this point heard any reasonable arguments why there shouldn't be a polling place on the Public Service Commission, Public Service Complex on Route 9. There's just been no reason to exclude that if you're going to do east-west or north-south and eliminate anything from probably the most populous center of Milton. It is no secret at this time that open records requests are circulating around the city. To anyone who's read these open record requests, it's clear that there has been significant, exclusive, and persistent pressure to direct the election's course by highly partisan players. Some of this heavy influence came from city council members who should not be involved in their own elections. And some came from an individual who has requested that her name remain secret. She was allowed to give the election supervisor, quote, action items, which he then assigned. This has got to be against the governing rules for transparency in city government and against state election code. I can't believe for a minute that our election should have that kind of influence behind the scenes and can be considered fair. The effort made here is about controlling who gets the votes. It undermines trust when it is most crucial. Exclusive interference by one political party casts serious doubts on the decisions that are made by the council. So many would like this effort to succeed, and all for good reasons. And what I mean by succeed, I want the city to succeed in having a good, fair, transparent, honest election. A number of Milton residents that I've talked to from both sides of the aisle want partisan politics removed from city government. They don't want the community divided by partisan issues where it's not appropriate. And I think that city council has to really work hard at this point, given the open records request, to restore trust. I'm going to leave you with a timeline from the opens records request that goes item by item. I did this to help understand what was going on. And I'm going to leave you with these two sheets that talk about the comparison and the two prices that we've been told it's going to cost to run this election. Thank you.
Thank you. Will you please call the next speaker?
I invite Donna Johnson to the podium, please.
Good evening, everyone. I am Donna Johnson. Address is 115 Canongate Kirk Circle. I'm here because I was hoping this was going to be on the agenda tonight, but the agenda didn't get put out in time for me to know that it wasn't on the agenda, so here I am anyway. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the election, and from the very get-go, I have been very public and very open about how it became a very partisan feasibility committee, and I felt like the whole election timeline and everything else has become very partisan for a nonpartisan election. And I feel like, and then with everything that just has come out with the Open Records Act, I feel like we are sort of in a position that it's really, we kind of need to take a step back, take a look at this. As Francia said, only having 2 polling places and having them on our side of town and not on the other side of town. You know, when I asked a couple times if we could at least maybe add a third one, and instead of, you know, I was told that there was a cost issue, that we only could have 2 polling places. Maybe we should have pulled the one from the old Milton Country Club and put it over on the Deerfield side so that it was a little bit more fairly divided, more easy for people to get there. So I just wanted to once again reiterate that at this point in time, I feel like perhaps we should take a step back and maybe let Fulton County run this election and sort of go back to the drawing board and make it a little bit more of a fair and open discussion about Milton running our own elections. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes general public comment.
Okay. We will move on to the consent agenda. Will the city clerk please sound the items?
Mayor, that item is approval of an amendment to the system agreement between the City of Milton and Tyler Technologies, Inc. to fixed asset software implementation. It's agenda item number 23172. Mayor?
Thank you. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the shortest consent agenda we have ever had.
Second.
Man, that was
Thank
close. All right, I will, that's a motion from Councilmember Cookerly, a second from Councilmember Johnson to approve the consent agenda as read. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. So we will move on to the move new business item. Will the city clerk please sound the item?
Mayor, that item is consideration of a resolution appointing or reappointing members to the City of Milton Design Review Board by appointing a board member for District 2, Post 2. It is agenda item number 23173. Mayor Jamison?
Thank you. I will turn it over to Councilmember Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is my sincere pleasure to recommend Mary Cronk as my appointee for service on Milton's Design Review Board. Mary grew up in New Jersey, but has called Georgia her home since 1992, and she and her husband Greg have called Milton their home since 2019. Mary and Greg have 2 married daughters and 2 granddaughters, with a new grandchild due any minute. Already here. Fantastic. Congratulations. Boy or girl? Fantastic. Mary's work career was a corporate registered dietitian and served as National Director of Patient Experience. Mary has a comprehensive portfolio of volunteer service to the community, playing roles in diverse list of organizations with roles at North Point Church in a variety of youth programs and meal support programs. She has served as membership chair and board member of the Milton Historical Society and treasurer and president of past HOA organizations. Mary and her husband, Greg, also have participated in Milton's Citizen Government Academy twice, which is rather astounding, and we appreciate your commitment to learning all about Milton. As such, Mary is well-versed on how our city works and the importance of adhering to our guiding principles, ordinances, and overlays. She has had a regular presence at our council meetings at the podium, advocating to keep the best of Milton foremost in our thoughts as we direct the city. Mary offers the following statement for your consideration on her appointment to the Design Review Board. Milton, and I quote, "Milton's unique quality of life convinced us 4 years ago that we needed to live here. Having seen other cities in the Atlanta area become overdeveloped and go into decline, Greg and I are thankful for all those who have worked so diligently to make Milton the best place to live. I appreciate the opportunity to work in concert with fellow members of the Design Review Board and with city staff. Following our well-crafted standards, we can continuously improve our city while maintaining our unique character," close quote. With that, I respectfully request your approval to appoint Mary Cronk to Milton's Design Review Board.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Moore. Do we have any public comment on this?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay, I'll close public comment. Any council discussion on the item?
I think it's a wonderful decision, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I will open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve adding Mary Cronk to the Design Review Board.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Verhoff and a second from Councilmember Jacobus to approve Mary Cronk as a District 2 Post 2 Design Review Board. Any discussion on the motion? I think she's going to do a fantastic job. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Mary?
I gotta go get him. I gotta wait. Come on, watch the video. I think it's good.
Oh. Whereas.
I do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully perform the duties of the Design Review Board member of the city, that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America. Right there. Right there. Take your time. Okay.
Ready? Look up here. 3, 2, 1. Good, thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to reports and presentations. Will the city clerk?
I got you. I got you, Mayor.
Oh, well, the deputy city manager, please sound the first item.
Our first reports and presentation item this evening is discussion of the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, or EECBG, presented by our Environmental Projects Manager, Miss Emily Croft. Emily, do you mind if I interrupt you really quick? Councilmember Moore, can you hear us? One more try. Councilmember Moore, can you hear us? Okay, proceed.
Tammy, he can hear us. I don't think we can hear him. Councilmember Moore, can you hear us now?
No, we don't have any votes until new business, so as long as he can hear us, I mean, that's good.
rolling.
Yeah,
Good to go?
let's go and go, Emily. Let's go.
All right.
Thanks.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'm here to discuss the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant presented to us from the U.S. Department of Energy. We'll first start with an overview of the grant and the funding that's available to us. And next, we'll discuss some proposed project ideas and share a tentative timeline and next steps. And tonight, we're looking for interest in these proposed projects, enough to move forward with submitting the pre-award information sheet by the end of this month. So we touched on this opportunity at the regular city council meeting on July 10th when we discussed prioritization and budgeting impacts related to energy efficiency and electric vehicles. This is a related opportunity to accomplish some of those goals. This is a block grant based on population, either the 10 most populous cities in a state or that have a population of at least 35,000. Since we meet that eligibility, we'd be set to receive the full funding as determined by the U.S. Department of Energy, $76,350 with no required match. And they quote, "This is not a competitive grant, and all eligible governments and tribes are entitled to the full allocation." There are 15 eligible uses in the program, which you'll see on the next slide, and staff has proposed some recommended projects that are in line with the discussions from the last council meeting. And additionally, we also have some alternative projects if those are of interest. So we've broken these down into 3 categories of all 15 eligible projects. The first one remaining constant, the grant deliverable in blue. Regardless of the project topic, we're proposing using the funding for strategy, planning, and consultation services, numbers 1 and 2. Next in green are the recommended projects, numbers 3, 6, and 14. We would encompass facility energy audits, facility improvement programs, and electric vehicle readiness into a strategy or planning document with possible remaining funding for an electric vehicle infrastructure project. And in orange are some alternative projects to consider, numbers 7, 8, 12, and 13. The deliverable would still be a strategy or planning document, but would instead focus on transportation, building codes, traffic signals, and possible solar initiatives. So the table here shows the deliverable at the top and the various project options. Staff is recommending the projects on the left, as we've identified some related cost estimates. The facility considerations and planning would provide a citywide condition assessment with proposals for cost and energy savings. It could also identify an analysis of incorporating EV infrastructure in our properties and facilities citywide. This planning and consultation is estimated to cost $65,000 out of the available $76,000. And with the remaining funds, we could explore the installation of an EV charger on city property. So our recommended projects are listed here again, with the deliverable providing a strategy or planning document for efficient facilities and EV considerations, as well as a possible EV charging station. And
Emily, what
tonight-
was your last comment again, please? What was the very last thing you said?
Facility efficiencies and EV charging stations
Okay, thank you.
would be these 2 recommended projects. And tonight, we're looking for interest in these projects and guidance on if we should proceed with completing the pre-application materials that are due by the end of this month. If the direction is to proceed and if there's interest, we can come before you again, or we can complete the entire grant process, depending on your guidance. Once awarded, there's a 2-year project and budget period for completion, and it's 60 to 90 days upon application that we would get the award. And I'll stop here for any questions or guidance on next steps.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Miss Emily? No? So basically, we give you the head nod and you're going to go ahead and do the grant and we'll get the money?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Everybody good with that?
Mhm.
All right. Thank you.
Think so.
Appreciate it. Okay. I'll turn it over to another deputy city manager. Call the next item.
I'm actually not going to call it.
Oh,
I'm
you're
going
not?
to
Okay.
pause for just a moment and see if we can test with
Okay.
Councilmember Morrig. Councilmember Morrig, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yes, we have it.
Just need to turn him up a little bit. Okay, one more time, Mr. Councilmember Morg.
Yes, I can hear you. Test 1, 2, 3.
We can hear it.
We can hear it. We have to listen closely, but we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, Mayor, that next item is fiscal year 2024 budget preparation, discussion of five-year forecast. Our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Bernadette Harville.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we are moving away from our guided feedback sessions and we'll be taking a look at projected revenues for fiscal year 2024 through fiscal year 2028. As you will recall, we have met on 6 occasions leading up to today's meeting where staff have presented to Council in order to obtain feedback and guidance on different projects and initiatives that have guided our team in the preparation of the long-term budget forecasts, which will include the upcoming proposed budget for fiscal year 2024. Here is a recap of the timeline that was proposed with any alterations we had to make in red. Tonight, we'll be discussing the revenue forecast for the upcoming 5 years, and we will regroup in August to review the proposed budget, as well as vote on the millage rate to fund these requests. Then in September, we will hold 2 public hearings to allow for additional council and community input, with the final budget adoption scheduled for September 18th. Here we have a recap of the capital projects and initiatives that have been discussed with Council. The feedback we received helped staff prioritize budgetary dollars in order to accomplish work in the timeframes proposed by Council. Next, we moved on to some of our strategic priorities outlined in the city's strategic and comprehensive plans. We discussed a wide range of topics related to economic development as well as sustainability. I truly appreciate all of the work staff put into preparing for these meetings, as well as the time and consideration our board members and council members put into the feedback they provided. This has given staff a detailed roadmap for our long-term budget forecast, and tonight we are going to focus on the revenue projections that will go towards funding the projects and initiatives discussed at each meeting. Before you is a summary of the 5-year revenue forecast by category. The market has changed significantly, and we are seeing changes from our previous 5-year forecast. I'm going to switch over really quickly to a PDF I have of the detailed line items. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
So here we have a breakdown of the revenues by line item for each of the 5 years. The top line represents current year real property taxes, Milton's largest revenue source. Staff has left the 2024 projection at the same amount that was forecasted in last year's budget book, which is the $14,980,525 you see in the gray column. Based on the preliminary digest figures we have received from Fulton County, staff believes we should be able to collect these revenues without exceeding the current 4.469 millage rate that was adopted last year. We are still waiting for the county to send finalized figures and plan to have additional information to you once we receive those approved figures. Staff plans to advertise the current millage rate of 4.469, so council will have the ability to adopt any millage rate up to that 4.469 without needing to re-advertise. And again, based on preliminary figures, that rate is below the forecasted rollback rate, which will only require a first presentation, an unfinished business item, as opposed to the 3 public hearings required when a proposed millage rate exceeds the rollback rate. Again, we will know more once we receive those final figures from the Fulton County. The subsequent year's forecast for property tax revenues have been based on the average net digest growth the city has seen in the past 4 years, according to the final digest figures provided by Fulton County for 2020 through 2022, and those preliminary forecasted figures for 2023. That average net digest growth rate is 7.6%, which does also include new additions, new homes, and new construction for commercial. We will revisit annually these figures as staff receives updated digest numbers from the county, and will prepare updated revenue forecasts for you as those come along each year. So again, those were forecasted at that expected growth rate at the same millage rate, or expected millage rate across those years, and we can, like I said, revisit that annually. Title ad valorem tax continues to remain at higher rates than originally forecasted and has been adjusted through the 5 years, with the 2024 projection being updated to $1.8 million from the original $1,147,079 forecast. You can see that one right here. Intangible tax, on the other hand, has continued to decline, and we've adjusted the forecast down to $400,000 from $619,628. Moving down to our lost projections. Staff's original local option sales tax projections were based on forecasts prepared during the negotiations last year. We have seen revenues coming in higher than originally projected and have adjusted the forecast accordingly. Other notable changes in revenues include insurance premium taxes based on recent collections. We have that right down here. Building permit revenues based on projected redevelopment along the Highway 9 and Deerfield corridors. Stop for a moment to let you see that. And investment income earnings based on anticipated interest rates and idle fund projections provided by our finance department. Right down here. And then moving on to our totals. This revenue forecast is approximately 11% higher than last year's 5-year forecast and will support the feedback staff has received from council with a projection of no increase to the millage rate and the ability to build an indoor community center in approximately 8 years, as well as the build out and staffing for Fire Station 45 and consideration for increased costs across many sectors. Should signs of change in the economy become apparent for better or for worse, staff will reassess projections accordingly as we have this year as compared to last year's forecast. Staff will be bringing the expenditure forecast along with a completed draft of the entire budget in August at the budget workshop. We will review the millage rate options based on the finalized figures from Fulton County, with council adopting a millage rate on August 14th. And finally, council will adopt the FY24 budget on September 18th. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time on the preliminary revenue forecast.
Any questions for Ms. Bernadette? Rick, anything? Councilmember Morg? Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Did you say something? No, okay. It was I'm not gonna say much better job. It was a great job this year with the budgets and how we did that. It was great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Well, do we have any public comment on that? No?
We do not, Mayor.
Okay, so we will move on to new business. Will City Clerk please say on the item?
That new business item is a consideration of a resolution to enter into a cooperation agreement between the City of Milton and Fulton County to continue participation in the Fulton County Community Development Block Grant Program, known as the CDBG, for the program years 2024, 2025, and 2026. Agenda item number 23-174. Our City Manager, Mr. Stephen Krokoff.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Fulton County is seeking a cooperation agreement from the City of Milton for the Urban County Community Development Block Grant Program, otherwise known as CDBG, for the program years January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026. The CDBG program is authorized under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. The primary objective is the development of viable communities. These viable communities are achieved by providing principally persons of low and moderate income, otherwise known as LMI, decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expanded economic opportunities. The City of Milton did execute a similar agreement with Fulton County on June 1st, 2020 for the program years of 2021 through 2023. To qualify for most of the programs, the City of Milton would either have to have a census tract that falls within the LMI category or conduct a survey to demonstrate LMI status. Historically, we have not been able to take advantage of the programs, notwithstanding a significant effort in the past years. Fulton County lists the following as threshold requirements for participation. The application must be submitted by or on behalf of a nonprofit organization or a governmental entity, which we are. Proposed activities must benefit low and moderate income residents or communities within Fulton County. There must be no adverse impacts to the environment in proposed activities as determined by an environmental review, which the county will prepare. Applications will not be considered for funding which cannot demonstrate meeting a national objective, which is a benefit of at least 51% LMI or address a condition under slum or blight, or if the project is not an eligible CDBG activity. Applications will not be considered for funding if proposed activity does not address measurable, consolidated, plan priority need objectives, or if measures has been obtained, and that's Fulton County's consolidated plan. Further, all CDBG activities must be consistent with one or more of the following HUD national objectives. Must provide a direct benefit to low to moderate income households, prevent slum or blight, or address an urgent need or problem within the community, which according to what was provided by Fulton County usually involves a natural disaster. Pursuant to the invitation from Fulton County's Department of Community Development, the City of Milton must take action. It can either enter into the new 3-year cooperation agreement or expressly withdraw participation via a formal written declaration. That is all I have for you, Mayor and Council, and I'm available for questions.
Okay. Any questions for Steve? Okay. Any public comment?
There are none.
Okay, I will open it for a motion.
Well, let me ask a question. So it appears that Fulton County has written to the feds and said, we're assessing whether we're going to pursue it in the future. Is that correct? That's their letter?
The county is already a recipient of these funds, and I have some experience from my previous life as the city where I worked. We were a direct recipient. Fulton.
They turn it down for 23?
No, Fulton County did not. Fulton County has been involved with this at least since I've been here. I'm sure beforehand because they have the low to moderate income. They have areas which are called LMAs, low to moderate income areas. And there are various eligible LMAs throughout Fulton County. The city of Milton does not have one of those, but some cities do. Sarah, I believe Roswell does, and I believe Sandy Springs does. So they are automatically eligible, and they don't come in under Fulton County. So the city of Milton doesn't have that eligibility, so we would fall in under Fulton County, and we would be kind of a subrecipient. But we would have to apply for any of those funds through Fulton County, which we have in the past since I've been here. We did, before I got here, apply for funds and receive some, though I think we ended up having to pay some back at some point. But since I've been here, we have not been successful in receiving funding.
Okay, I thought that's what the letter said.
I did not interpret it the same way.
Huh. Okay. All right. Sure.
All right, motion on the agenda item?
Maybe another question. Steve, based on the experience we've had in the past where we had to pay money back, it was because we were not able to meet the conditions set forth by Fulton County or by the federal level? Or both? Or
It was when I first got here. I think I was still the police chief, and we were going back and forth with Fulton County, and they determined that the project, even though they had approved it on the front end, on the back end, they determined it wasn't eligible, and we ended up paying back, I want to say about $9,000. I don't know why I remember that, but I do.
And how much money is available to us for this grant?
So it's dissimilar from the other one, where it's purely population-based. We'd have to apply for specific programs falling under one of the eligibility requirements, and we would fund it accordingly, and then they would either approve it or deny it. But in the past, when we've done that, they're asking us to demonstrate our eligibility for low to moderate income. And there were two ways you could do that. I believe you could have the census tract, which makes you immediately eligible, or you can conduct a survey. And that's not something that I think the city was willing to do or was willing to undertake in the past. I wouldn't know how to even go about starting that.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to spend money to potentially get the money, but there's no guarantee that the money is going to come, even though you may have done the survey or the studies to pursue the grant.
And the other piece of this is that if we don't sign on, we could still apply with the state if we wanted to be involved with CDBG and apply for funding through them. It would be a different mechanism.
And I know you mentioned Roswell. What about surrounding jurisdictions? What have some of the other like cities done? Have they chased it, not chased it?
I don't have the information of what the other cities in Fulton County have done.
Any other council discussion or questions for staff? I know the city attorney, you sent us a letter on this too.
Right. I mean, I'll just sort of reiterate what the city manager said. If you decline to participate this year, don't think that that door is permanently shutting. My experience with the federal government is they will keep knocking. And if you want to know that all of the strings attached to this money, it'll take me a minute to let you know. So I have not done that yet.
All right, any other discussion? Okay, I'll open it for a motion.
Well, it's a opt-in or opt-out, so it would be to opt out.
Yeah, but that's in the current recommendations, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
Just be a motion
Just
to
approve the
decline to participate at this
Okay.
time.
Well, point of view, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we decline to be in a cooperation agreement between the City of Milton, Fulton County, agenda item number 23-174 regarding the CDBG program.
Second. Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Cookerly and a second from Councilmember Jacobus to approve agenda item number 23-174. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, we'll move on to mayor and council reports. I do not have anything to report on. Any council member have anything? Okay. With that, we will adjourn into executive session to discuss personnel, land acquisition, and potential litigation. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
All right, have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Johnson. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.